I don't have an intro planned this time, but it is the 4th of July. Is there something funny to say about the 4th of July?
Well, this is coming out like in 2 weeks, so I don't think people are going to be
True.
over it.
But it's funny. It's funny that we're recording on the 4th of July.
I mean, that's kind of what we do. I remember specifically, I think the first episode we got on our bullshit was when we were recording on the 4th of July and just reflecting on how freedom is a fucking illusion and none of us are actually free.
Boom! Like happy festival fireworks.
Have we recorded on 4th of July before?
Yeah. It was an episode where we were talking about something that was very fitting because of like the child, like fucking the child cages on the border. And we were like, well, we're recording this on, I'm pretty sure it was the 4th of July.
Well, we're recording.
I think that was the episode where we ended it with abolish ICE.
Well, this is an episode that we're recording on the 4th of July that
it's coming out halfway through the month.
But this 4th of July episode has nothing to do with kingdoms warring on smaller
Nothing to do with
kingdoms and
imperialism.
nothing to do with imperialism. Nothing to do with your
Keep
leaders
politics
being
out of video games.
Yeah, dude, it's just high fantasy. There's no politics here. It's
There's
great.
no politics in this game. None.
Wokeism did not exist back whenever this game came out, which I forget. And I, for one, am refreshed about it. This is just a fun game about wizards fighting each other.
And this is your premiere podcast for Wizards Fighting, the Every FNFF podcast. I'm Curtis.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Alex.
And me and Alex are close enough to hold hands right now. Oh, we're back in the same room, baby.
And I'm far enough away to be jealous about that.
Well, it's only because we're recording on the 4th of July, and there are some happy festival fireworks happening outside of Curtis's home. They can cram.
Hopefully they stay outside of my home, but given the people who are inside of my house right now, I wouldn't be surprised if I come back to see my house burn down. So we'll see how it goes.
I feel like there was another during the Final Fantasy X season. There was also a big thing with fireworks when we first started recording it. Probably because we started recording around the same time.
You
each
mean
summer.
blowing up home?
Yeah, blowing up home. The Happy Festival fireworks that Waka was talking about. No, but there was all that stuff where there were just fireworks going off constantly, and everyone thought it was like a psyop and shit. And it probably
that's right. That's right. I remember.
And like,
that.
I just remember walking into the old recording space that we were using during the pandemic, and just seeing a shit ton of like used fireworks all over the place, and being like, God damn. Here we are over a year later, and things have gotten so much better for everyone, and everything's good. The ocean isn't on fire. Like the good guys won, and no bad guys are in charge of anything anymore. It's fucking great. We love to see it.
And we're gonna. What are we doing today? We're gonna go see our good friends in the village.
Yeah,
of
you know
Mist.
what? This is actually a fitting episode because I think there's a little bit of fireworks in this game. In this particular episode.
That's fair.
Take this Roman candle.
I hear that the village of Mist has a Sheets, and all we have is a Wawa. So that'll be
it'll be nice to try the local flavor. You know,
absolutely. But yeah, when we last left off, we were given a inconspicuously named bomb package. That's going to be the catchphrase of this season. Depending on what version you're playing, it's either the bomb ring or the Carnelian Signet.
Yeah, the Carnelian Signet. What the fuck does Carnelian mean, by the way? Did we ever figure that out?
That's where Han Solo is from.
Charmeleon. Carnelian. Let's see. I need to healing properties and uses. Remember,
Carnelian is the unevolved form of Charizard.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. It's okay. So it's some sort of gemstone. It looks very orange. In the SNES version, it was just called the package or the packet or something.
Yeah, package. Yeah.
So and we got sent on a mission. Again, depending on which version you're playing, it was either very well spelled out for you, or it was just like, you now go to the village of Mist and deliver this package.
Yeah.
So it's like the transporter.
We're like the transporter, but along the way, we're supposed to fight a monster.
What's the one where the
I
heart
haven't
is
seen
gonna
the
blow
transporter, but I assume he doesn't fight a beast in that. But it could. You're thinking of
who
Crank.
knows? Crank, yeah.
He makes the delivery without any problems.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're allowed to explore Baron Castle now, and
we got pushed out of the throne room. There's a little bit of dialogue between Cecil and Kane, and they're basically like, Cecil's just like, "Yo, shit, homie, I'm sorry, like I fucking got you dragged into this, and also kicked out of our cool guy club." And you know, Kane's like, "Dude, it's whatever. Like we'll be back in no time. We'll complete this new mission, and things will be back to normal. Like it's not a big deal."
Yo, Kane establishes himself real quick as a ride or die.
Yeah, he's winning some real homie points, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, like, I will say, after FF10, the early homie is always the one I'm like, later.
Yeah, you gotta.
So I look forward to, like, Kane becoming, like, racist or something later. Yeah. Like, a fucking religious fundamentalist, we'll find out. But yeah, we're allowed to explore the castle, and one of the very first things we can do is go find Kane where he's hanging out, and he's just like chilling by a window.
It's like the rec room.
It's like the rec room,
or like the employees' lounge.
It really is, because there's other like soldiers. There's like
it's the water cooler, really.
Yeah,
it's posted up by the vending machines. There's like a bag of like Fritos that are like. Someone paid for them, but they're like pressed up against the glass. So
right. Which I have a surefire way to get those kind of things out, by the way. Somebody
with
taught
a
me
hammer.
One time. Not with a hammer, but what you do is when you shake the vending machine, don't shake vending machines. It could fall on you and it could kill you. But
shake it from the side.
Yeah, we learned that from Homer.
You
Simpson.
could shake it from the side, but what you do is you put your hands up on the top of it and you press upward and backward. And like the idea is not to ever pull forward, because if you pull forward, that's when you fucking pull the thing down.
Very
and
top
you get killed.
heavy,
Yeah. So you just like pop it backward real quick, and it'll roll it forward, and you can keep popping it backward over and over and over. And your hands are up there keeping it from falling forward, and eventually it'll fall out. Anyway,
what vending machine snack do you guys think is worth risking death and maybe dying to get?
Rolled gold pretzels.
Yo, hell yeah. That shit hits the spot when all you have is vending machine snacks.
Yeah. It's like the closest to a meal.
Andy Cap hot fries.
Yo, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So Kane's here. And
he's just milling with some other Red Wings. Guy.
Yeah.
This guy's in green.
And depending on which version you're playing, this is very different. Most of the version differences are very similar to each other, but this is like really different depending on what you're playing. If you're playing the SNES version, he just kind of quickly says, he just kind of like goes over the mission again. He tells you to get some sleep. He's like, hey, if you don't go to bed and, get rest, you're going to make me have to do the whole mission. And you don't want that.
Yeah, there's like a friendly rivalry thing. He's like, I'll kill our prey and it'll be kick ass. And I'll, the king will kiss me then.
That's what we're doing it for, is the king's kisses.
Yeah.
But
it's a real Mr. Burns Smithers situation.
But if you're playing the any of the 3D versions, it actually goes into like a cutscene where he like explains a little bit about his past, and like you learn that like his father was the head of the Dragoons before him, and that's why he's doing everything. That's why he wants to be head of the Dragoons, is like to honor his father and like and the group themselves.
I think that is also the same in the version that I'm playing on PSP or PS Vita, I guess, the complete collection. It's not like a cutscene, like a 3D cutscene or anything, but he does talk more about being a Dragoon and what it means to him and stuff. But I do like in the SNES one, there's a little bit of world building that goes on with Cecil. He says, I mastered the dark sword as commanded by His Majesty, but it was to defend and not to rob. And Kane's like, do not blame yourself. His Majesty must have his own reason. So they still believe that, the king's intentions are good, but Cecil also kind of has this thing where he's like, dude, like he's obviously having a crisis over all the shit that he's doing. Like he's got blood on his hands now, and he's also like, I mastered like the dark arts, like the dark sword, like whatever that means, like. And he's like, shit, like maybe I shouldn't have done that, even though I'm strong as hell now.
He does say in one of the versions that the king actually took him in when he was an orphan, and so like that's one of the reasons that he's like studied the dark blade, is to like pay the king back for his kindness. But the king doesn't seem so kind anymore.
Yeah,
it's like Baby Driver.
Just like Baby Driver.
Yeah, the king got canceled, much like
well, the baby also got canceled. Sorry. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
Oh, no. As long as Edgar Wright is fine, I guess.
Nothing to report.
Okay. I looked at Alex.
This joke that'll either be really fine in a couple years or could be tragic. I think he's for the most part a cool guy. Who knows?
I will say in the room opposite the little rec room that we're in, multiple of the Red Wings, the actual soldiers that are on the Red Wings, they say they are having doubts about the king. And I thought that was kind of interesting that multiple people in the castle are like, hey, is the king all right? Something seems wrong. He doesn't seem the same as he used to.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have noticed the change.
Yeah, I like in Final Fantasy II, quote unquote, on Super Nintendo, one of the guys just says, I feel something strange about the king lately, which yes, you're observant. And then the other guy across the table from is, I have faith in his majesty.
I mean, in a way, they could be talking to each other, maybe. Who knows?
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, after that, the next room we walk into is kind of like the foyer of the castle, right? The little lobby area. And there's a couple of ways that we can go from here. We can go downstairs. We can kind of go out to the different sides of the castle.
There's different courtyards and whatnot.
Yeah, and there's also a guy guarding a button, and he just tells you, he's like, oh yeah, that's our treasure. You can just take whatever you want from it. And you are introduced to the concept of pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Shit's wild.
It's helpful.
And chests, I guess.
There were no buttons in FF1, right?
I don't think so, no.
Damn, that's some real, that's future technology. That's how you know that we're screaming along.
We've upgraded. Yeah, that's what makes this one Final Fantasy 2.
That's right.
But yeah, you can just hit the button a little, the wall kind of opens up, similar to the way that they do in Dark Souls 2. And there's in my version, this might be different in other ones. Who fucking cares? It was found 300 GP, which is interesting because in this it's not called Gil, it's called GP. A tent and a Cure 1, which is basically just a potion.
You know what's interesting is on the Naming Way edition that I'm playing, which I think has the same chest contents here, and the Steam version, they both had 490 gil, and I was like, oh, it must be the exact same across all the versions. And you've just shattered my perception of reality.
I feel like there is never going to be a single instance of anything across all of the versions being the same. The same, yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe the name Cecil.
yeah, right. I do if you go downstairs, there's two little basement areas, and one is the room, I guess the lab maybe, where
it's the White Mage laboratory. It's an alchemist lab.
It's the classroom, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a Black Mage one as well. And I remember one of the White Mages, and in multiple versions of the game says they're studying the 3 C's of white magic, which is Cure, Cura, and Curaga, and I was like, that's funny. That's a good line.
What's interesting too is I think it was in the White Mage one where they were talking about that. I think in the Vita version, the complete edition, I think they also say they've heard of a fourth that's called Curaja.
Ooh.
I saw that named and I was like, damn, that might be the first instance. I mean, probably not. Or the earliest one of, who cares?
In Final Fantasy 2, it was Cure 4, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm wondering
I wonder
when
if
the
that's
translation
just them maybe in the future, as in future iterations of the game, we will somehow discover the 4th cure.
Yeah. Maybe.
Or if in this one they just have a 4th phase of shit because they're well, this came out apparently 5 years after the DS one.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the 4th phases of spells in the original one as well, but it didn't have the naming convention.
Yeah. So just more of that stuff. I did like that one of the White Mages, or in my version of the game, the White Wizards, says, Rosa became White Wizard to be of help. Be nice to her. And it's oh, okay, we're hearing the name Rosa.
Yeah. And we it's a character that we're going to meet later, and I think that's kind of interesting that so it says to help, I guess, in that version, but in some of the ones I read, they literally say Rosa became a White Mage to help you, Cecil.
Yeah,
Cecil.
exactly,
So,
yeah.
And then
the Black Mage Laboratory.
The Black Mage Laboratory. The only thing I really remember was that one of the Black Mages tries to cast sleep on you and then fails. But
it's very good. It's very good.
If I was somebody in the Final Fantasy universe, that would be me.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if a Black Mage tried casting sleep on me,
I would just go to sleep. Even if it like didn't work as the spell, I'd be like, well, that's as fucking good as an excuse as any. I'm just going to take a nap here and blame this guy.
Damn, you know what? That is a spell that I wish I could do in real life, and I would just cast it on myself at 11:30 at night.
Yeah. Dude, I've been so stressed that I haven't been able to sleep. Or I'd like fall asleep and then wake up like an hour into me being asleep and not be able to sleep for like hours. So I've been trying to I am this black mage just trying to cast sleep on myself. I'm like, oh, it didn't work.
Bro, you need to pay 50 GP for an inn.
It just makes me think of when Homer joins the FBI and learns like the little like nerve pinch thing.
That's right. Yeah,
dinner's not for another hour.
yeah, that's such a good scene. Let's see what else. If we walk around to the right courtyard, what are the cardinal directions? East, the east courtyard. Yeah. In one of the buildings in there's another button that we're not allowed to touch. Mm-hmm. They tell us like, ooh, this is where all the goodies that the King of Barons stores. You're not allowed in here. And I was like, oh shit, they're just giving us a little tease earlier.
You know what's funny though? I didn't get to test this in the Vita version, but I went back and replayed this part on Super Nintendo on the emulator, and I was able to hit the button and open the door, but you can't get past the guy. So like, the guy's like, "This is off limits," and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, and I just hit the button, and I'm like, yeah, and then I just walk away, like do something.
Made his job a little bit harder.
Do something. I'm a Dark Knight, motherfucker.
Yeah. Also, there's 2 airship technicians in the courtyard. And they're there in all the different versions, but they mention a Sid. So we're like beginning of the game and we already got our Sid, baby. We already got that name drop.
2 episodes in, let's go.
Yeah. And they're like one of them is like, oh man, Sid's running us ragged. He's making us work all the time. But it sounds like they kind of like Sid though. You get the sense that like the technicians appreciate him and like enjoy working with him.
Yeah, like he runs a tight ship. I guess no pun intended, but they at least like respect him, so.
Right.
I do like what one of those guys says. He says, I found a good place to goof off and take a nap. Oops. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, please don't tell our boss. So this one dude is like, yo, I found a great, this is George Costanza. He's like, yo, I got a nice situation under my desk where I can like sleep under there. He calls the other one and has him call in the bomb ring threat. So that way, and then Sid's like, everybody under the desk.
That's really all that's going on this side of the castle in the middle, right?
Yeah,
probably good to move to the next area.
Yeah, it's funny too because it's like an older Final Fantasy game, so I'm still like very much like I need to search everywhere and go everywhere and see what I can find and stuff. And then I'm like, oh no, it's literally I'm just walking around and all of this is useless. So I should just get to the next like story beat and continue. Yeah.
I mean, we will get to like the other castles in the game are like full of stuff, but
nice.
This one and the town around it are pretty bare bones, I would say.
Would you say they're pretty barren?
Ooh,
Alex, cue in some crickets, please.
But then, yeah, so the only area we have left to go is the western courtyard, and on our way down the stairs to the courtyard, we actually meet Rosa, right? As we're walking down the stairs, she kind of comes up behind us, like she's been following us and is finally caught up with us.
Yeah.
And I don't have the script in front of me. So.
Yeah, and she says, I'm gonna just go ahead and read from like the updated version, just because like the Super Nintendo, we went over this last episode. It's very like basic, and the translation is kind of weird, and there's some funny stuff with that. But for the sake of like telling the story and not getting too confusing, we'll just read like an updated one where Rose is just like, "Oh, thank goodness you're all right. I was so worried. You and your men left on such short notice." So Cecil says, "We're okay. I wish I could say the same for the Mysidians." And she says like, "Cecil, I'll visit you later, okay?" And Cecil's just like, all right. And then like, it's just like a kind of quick like interaction, but they're gonna talk more later.
Yeah, right. And then when we get to the western courtyard, we can go into one of the towers, which is like the dungeon. Like we can go down it, right? Like it shows a tower, I think, but it goes down. But anyway, we go to the dungeon and we see that there are some of the Mysidians that we've captured there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we like talked about this a little last time where we were like, did we kill them or did we capture them or what? And like at least a couple of them we captured.
Yeah.
And I like to like for the most part, all the wizards and all the people that we captured are like not even asking for freedom. They're just like, you have to return that crystal. You don't know what you took. Like, you don't get it. And like, that's very foreboding.
One of the black mages just says, "You don't understand. The crystal is not just jewelry."
It's not just that bling bling. It's not just that ice.
But yeah, and then that bodes well for, everything that we've seen.
Yeah, no, I feel good about that. Yeah. And then when we try to like go to the final area that we're allowed to go, which is where Cecil's quarters are,
northwest corner of the castle, more or less, right?
Yeah. We hear a voice that goes, "Oh, Cecil!" And we see a bearded man with like, what the hell is this man wearing?
Like an old timey pilot's hat. I got the
like an aviation hat.
Yeah, the aviation hat with the goggles and stuff.
Yeah,
he reminds me of one of the like adult sons from Castle in the Sky. Just like all very he's got the cap on and like the goggles, but he's got a big beard that makes him look like Gritty, honestly.
Yeah, to me it kind of felt like the way I imagine him in personality is just like if Robin Williams, rest in peace, was like portraying Macho Man Randy Savage, also rest in peace. Like that's kind of just the vibe that he has, because he's like above us and up like a staircase, and he like sees us because we're on a lower elevation than him, and he just starts like jumping around and like spinning. Yeah, he's like very theatrical and
he's
energetic.
So excited.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and so he very quickly, like, we don't see this, but we see him like go down the stairs and disappear, and then like a second or two later he runs out in front of us, like on the same floor that we're on, which is very cute. It's like very funny that he's like excited to see us, so he runs through the castle to get to us.
Yeah.
But when he finds us, he's like, "Oh, hey there, how's my airship doing?" And Cecil's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine, I guess." But he kind of like trails off, and it's implied that he tells Sid the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And Sid's like upset. He's like, "What? Who's going to command the Red Wings then? Oh, I can't believe this. If Baron is going to use them, like if the king is going to use them for these nefarious deeds, then I'm not going to make these airships anymore." And I remember thinking when I was playing the game, because Sid was like, "I don't want my airships to be used as a weapon." And I was like, I know, because I played this game, that the airships have cannons on them. Why did you put cannons on them if you didn't want them to be used as a weapon?
I mean, to be fair, I know that supposedly there's like more and more monsters appearing, very early Final Fantasy.
That's
but
fair.
It's like, there's self-defense cannons, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it would be.
You see how many zoos are around?
I was gonna say it would feel real good to shoot a zoo out of one of them, just like pow.
Give me that.
You see a bunch of feathers.
Cecil's crossbow cannon training for a week.
They're just for sport.
Yeah, that's right.
They just look cool.
He says he's been working all night, and if he doesn't go home soon, his daughter's gonna get mad at him, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we're allowed to go up the final tower to where Cecil's quarters are. There's like a maid, I guess, at the door, and she's like, "Oh, hey, I changed all the sheets and everything. Your room's ready to go." And
depending on what version, apparently she's not there. And I think in some versions,
mm-hmm.
In the PSP version, she may not be there. I could be wrong though.
Hard to say.
The layout of like Cecil's space is totally different in the version. Sometimes you go up a room and up the stairs, but sometimes you just go straight up to a room.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's like a little bit of, I don't know. There's the geography of his towers varies.
Oh, wow. Ever changing. It's like the House of Leaves. I do like that you walk through like the quarters for other Red Wings, and there's just like two of them sleeping. They got like 5 beds just all pressed up against each other. But you can talk to the Red Wings, and the one just is like, "Ouch, that hurts." Like he's like recovering from the battle that he had with like the fiends on the airship.
Yeah.
Although in the DS version, we will meet this weird rabbit.
Oh, that's right. Is this where it happens?
On our way up to our quarters.
Okay, yeah. I don't have that part on me. I don't have my laptop with me today, so tell me about that.
So when I walked in, I was very confused. Like, who the fuck is this? And we're greeted by kind of just a white rabbit looking character.
It's very cute. It like reminds me of like the Moogles in FF12 a little bit, like the way it's dressed.
But yeah, he's just in like he looks almost like a traveling merchant. He's got like a red robe on.
Yeah.
But it says, "Greetings and salutations, Sir Knight. My name is Namingway." And what else do you say? I travel the world bestowing new names upon those dissatisfied with the ones they already possess. So that's kind of cool. Like if you know.
Yeah, if you want and you're playing the 3D version, you can have Naming Way change Cecil's name here. And in like the FF2 version and like the older versions, Naming Way is all over the place. He's in like every town, and you can go.
Literally. Like I met him in the next town that we go to, and like any town after that I've been to.
Yeah,
is this like the Pokemon like namer or like
the name raider?
Yeah, the name raider. Yeah.
Yeah, if you trade Cecil from another version, he says that he can't change the name because it doesn't have the right trainer ID.
Yeah, Cecil doesn't evolve into Paladin until you trade him from one game to the other one. But yeah, he gives us the option to change our name here. I said no, and he actually had like dialogue based around that. He was like, "Oh, what a shame! You don't want to change your name. Well, that's all right." And and he runs off. He's like, "I'm gonna go have myself a little adventure."
He's like, "Say what? You can't change your name? Well, this is certainly unprecedented. It's almost as though my existence here serves no purpose. Naming Way who cannot change a man's name is no Naming Way at all."
This just isn't a very happy birthday for Naming Way.
So yeah,
what's the matter, Naming Way? You barely touched your banana kaboom.
Yeah. He basically goes on a soul search now after this because we've given him
crushed his spirit immediately.
Right. Yeah.
That's weird. Like, it's because his purpose is to give other people different names, but if like one person just doesn't want your services, like, well, I guess I'm packing it in. Mom was right.
Did either of you guys rename Cecil or anyone?
I did in the FF2 version, but
I did immediately upon meeting him, which again in my version was a little later, and I wanted to name him Captain Cum, like CAPT Cum. That didn't fit, so it just was Capcom.
Capcom. That's who makes Mega Man.
Yeah, exactly. I saved my game and completely forgot that I did that. And then the next time I played, I was like, "What the fuck is Captain Con?" And I was like, "Oh right." I was like, "That's gonna be too confusing." I was like, "I'm just gonna change it back to Cecil."
Can we talk about this real quick? This is wild to me. In the original version and all the 2D versions, you can name any of your characters 6 characters, so like 6 letters for a name. And then like, you know, the Steam and 3D version is like an updated version, right? It's got like more stuff. It's 5.
What?
It's less.
That's crazy.
How upsetting. Maybe not on the DS, but on Steam, it is 5 characters. And I was like, that is ridiculous. What is Fusoya going to be named way later in the game?
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't there characters that have longer like names?
Like Naming Way?
Well,
yeah, I just mean like playable.
But we don't play it,
ones.
so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was very weird. I was like, what? And like, maybe it's just, I don't know.
I'm sure like the older versions of the game, they could only like fit, they like,
yeah, but you'd think the newer ones would like have like text wrap or something, and like it would be fine.
Yeah, there's a pour over text or whatever. Pixel remasters though, holding out
for the pixel remasters.
Tiny font, there'll be plenty of room.
Anyway,
I can make the B script my name.
That reminds me.
You like jazz?
In the Super Nintendo one, when I met Naming Way, I named Cecil Bessel.
Never gets old. I had Vitus last season.
Tybus.
Or Tybus, that was it. Yeah, Tybus. Yeah, but that's really all that's in Baron Castle. Then we go up to our room.
Our quarters.
And Cecil like gets in bed, and he just like gets in bed and faces the wall
in his
he's
full armor.
Yeah, in full armor. Yeah.
Yeah. So is in your version? Did he just like get like in bed? Like
he just walks into the bed. Yeah.
Like
same with mine.
Yeah.
In mine, he doesn't get in bed. It just requires like. In DS version, I should say, / Steam version.
Oh, that's true.
He has like a little cutscene where he kind of does like the very thoughtful kind of like knee up, one leg up on the bed, sitting like with its arm resting on it, looking very forlornly, like
holds up a skull.
Oh, you also see
of a Mysidian.
You also see 2 moons out the window too.
Oh, cool.
It's very, very A New Hope.
Oh yeah, Tatooine.
Indeed.
it's just him reminiscing. I think in both versions he's kind of like either thinking to himself or talking internally about his struggle.
Yeah, he's basically like I don't know what is happening to His Majesty. This isn't like him at all. And then at least in the SNES version and a couple others, he says, I'm never going to do this again, even if I'm ordered to. Like he kind of like makes up his mind that like this will be the last time that I do anything like this.
And then DS version, he kind of gives a little bit of a backstory of for Cecil. He's like,
Your Majesty, what's become of you? Where is the noble knight, the man who took me in as an orphan and raised me as his own?
It fleshes out his backstory a little bit. And also
it gives him more of a reason,
depth.
to like not just be like immediately suspect of the king, because he's like, I think he says like it not just raised him, but him and Cain. So him and Cain are essentially like brothers.
Brother.
Yeah.
Brother. And then Rosa comes in.
Yeah, so Cain's the real good at blitzball when you can finally recruit him at the end of the game.
So yeah, Rosa comes in. Like she said, she was going to meet Cecil later at night. And she knows that something's wrong with him because she saw him earlier in the day and is like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're not your usual self. And he kind of explains what they did in Mysidia, right? And like the gist of it is that like, even though there's the multiple versions and everything, they all kind of play out in the way that Rose is trying to be like, hey, you're not a bad person. Like a bad person would not feel bad about what you did. You know what I mean? Like you're a good person. And obviously he's like, no, I killed people. Like, no, I killed innocent people. That a good person does not make. And I like that in a couple of the versions he says, my soul is now as black as my armor. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's good.
That's poetry, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Kind of purple.
It's got my soul is as dark purple as my armor.
I did like what he said in one of the versions where he says, in Mysidia, we killed innocent people to steal their, and like trails off. And then he says, it was horrible. I guess it's my fate as a dark knight. Soon, I won't even feel any remorse for my actions, which makes it seem like it's not just like a title or anything, but it's like, especially like with what we know, where is like, I studied like the Dark Blade for this dude. Like while you were out partying, I was studying the Dark Blade. Now that the Mysidians are dead at my feet, you come to me. But no, like it's more of a like it puts into perspective more about like what the class of Dark Knight is in this game, where it's like soon I'm just going to be killing and not feeling anything, because like the more powerful I become in these ways, like the worse I'm going to be.
You know what's interesting is like I don't know that this is like intentional or anything, but it is kind of neat that there is almost like a gameplay reasoning for that. I feel like because like Darkness on the 2D versions just does an AoE attack that takes your HP or whatever. Yeah. So it would stand to reason that like the stronger he gets, the less pain he feels from dishing out more damage.
Yeah, the more HP he has, the less that is a downside.
Yeah, and the more like devastating the attack is. So like that's kind of neat. It's a neat way to look at it.
I like it.
Yeah. But she says that she heard that he's going to the Village of Mist and worries about him. And he goes, nah, it's fine. Cain's coming with me, so we'll be okay. And she kind of like leaves him at that, right?
Yeah, she says, please come back safe, okay?
Yeah. And then we get what I feel like is a classic scene, but I also watch a lot of Free Enterprise, which we'll talk about this season. We get... To me, this is like the first scene of FF4 to me. Like, it's Cain and Cecil coming out of the different wings that they stay in, like where their rooms are, and then meeting each other in the lobby and are like, are you ready? And he's like, oh, I'm ready, let's go. And the music starts building up.
The Predator handshake. Arnold and Carl Weathers.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Shall we then, Cecil?
I'll be counting on you, my friend.
Then you've nothing to fear.
Yeah, they do that, and then they walk outside of the castle, and then we get our what do you call that? Our story scroll, what's the thing that happens at the beginning of Star Wars?
The crawl, yeah.
The opening crawl. Because there was a crawl
in here. You can see 2 moons. Very cool.
Yeah, and there was a crawl in FF1, so
there was
the same theme too. I think
the heroes of light.
Mm-hmm. And the theme begins when you see them coming out of the rooms to meet each other in the hallway, which is why I'm always like, oh, this scene is so good. It's like very emotionally powerful.
It's really good. It's really cinematic, and it just fucking rules. I was really excited to see this.
I will say the background behind the crawl in every version looks fantastic.
It's this beautiful, it kind of looks like a watercolor painting, right?
Oh, yeah, the one for the 3D games looks fucking mwah. It looks beautiful.
On the 3DS, they took advantage of both screens and made like a nice portrait. Like, so the two moons are like almost on the top, very tippy top of it. The top screen is almost completely empty.
Yeah,
and then the castles, there's a castle.
It looks so
on
good.
The bottom screen.
It looks so good. It's so well done.
I'm trying to pull up the like the images from places, and it's just like it's so fucking hard to find that shit like anywhere.
And so the Dark Knight Cecil, stripped of all's commanded of the Red Wings, set out for the distant valley of mist.
Jerry, he and the Dragoon Kane.
Together with Kane, commander of the Dragoons, he would pursue the Faceless Quarry.
yeah, we gotta pursue the quarry.
A chance for redemption, Jim.
All right, I'm sorry. We're gonna. But yeah,
airships have been a dream of many people. After the realization of the dream, fuck, my screenshot's all fucked up. After the realization of the dream came greed and ambition. Through its fleets of airships, Baron became the most powerful nation. But why is Baron seeking in the crystals? Why, Jerry? Why do the monsters keep increasing? Huh? The sea was angry that day, my friend. Yeah, then the last line in the SNES version is so weird. It just says, the crystal was shedding its light silently, which is like poetic.
I like that line.
I like it. It's just like shedding is so weird. And I just immediately was like, oh, mistranslation.
Oh, I guess it could be shining. I think shedding works.
I like shed their light.
Yeah, crystal sheds its light, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I just assumed that it was like a mistranslation. It definitely does sound cooler, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like that like they bring the advent of airships into this as a major plot point. Yeah. That like was man ready to have airships, because clearly like the country that has them is now just like destroying all these other countries.
Too powerful.
So God, like, imagine if there was like a powerful country that like had advanced technology and was just able to like go to like less advanced places and just take their resources that are
I'm really excited
both culturally and like more so than the nation in power like could foresee. Like culturally important and also probably isn't stuff you should be taking.
I'm really excited for the
Carl,
I'm really excited for the Boston. I'm excited for the Boston Dynamics robot dog to finally be able to arrest us and murder us on site. So anyway, yeah, we're on our adventure. There's something I wanted to talk about here before we get into the town as well. That now that we're on the world map, I found out in the SNES version, it is possible to get in an encounter on your very first step, because it happened to me. Damn. And I was like, bullshit. But what I want to talk about is specifically the Steam version's battle system, I guess, like battles, right? So like FF2 is one of my favorite fucking versions of this game. It's incredible. It plays ultra fast. It just feels super smooth. The ATB gauges are fast. The running around is pretty fast. It's nice. It's good and it feels great. And then you get into a battle on the overworld in the 3DS, or not 3DS, but the Steam version, and it's like 10 frames a second or less, and it feels awful.
That sucks.
It is fucking horrendous. And like, for having like a higher resolution now, the ATB only fills up in like eighths. It's like super choppy. And so like it's hard to tell when your turn's coming up, and like everything is so framey that you're like, am I winning or losing? I don't know. Like it's awful. It's awful.
I really like the way the ATB works in the Vita, like the complete collection or whatever, just because it actually has the ATB bar that fills up, and like when you use like we'll be talking about it more in depth probably, but like the Dragoon move and the classic Final Fantasy move jump, that Kane can use, when you use that, you see the bar fill up, and then you hit jump, and then you'll see like the rest, like a different color filling up on the bar as like Kane is preparing to jump and everything. So it's really nice.
That is nice, because I remember
versus on like Super Nintendo, it's just like a wait time and you don't see the increase at all.
Yeah, I remember talking about that last time. The different moves have like that secondary wait time in this game,
Yeah.
And that's cool that you can actually see them in that version. I like that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But anyway, yeah, if you get into a battle in the fucking Steam version. So, Baron Town, right? The town of Baron.
I think I missed the town because I just like, oh yeah, I'm done. It's
You
just like
pulled a FF1, Carl.
Yeah, it was an FF1. And you get to fucking what's his name and get killed, and because you have no weapons.
Well, I'll tell you what. In this one, like, there's not a lot you can do. Like in FF1, you do need to go to the town. In this one, there's like nothing there.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can't
as easy
get to
miss
the
in
weapon.
FF1,
Yeah,
as an FF1, I should say.
Yeah.
Because it is like 2 separate like things on the map.
Oh,
and not
yeah,
just like
yeah.
go sideways
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
up.
yeah. It's not enclosed in an area that looks like it's just one thing.
Right. But I will say, like, the weapon and armor shop is just closed now.
Yeah.
Like, if you try to go up to it, it's like, oh, they're closed right now. You can't even use it. So there's
a
nothing
holiday.
there. Yeah, it's a holiday.
It's
It is
4th of
July 4th. Yeah.
Celebrating the crystal acquiring or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
This is you can meet Rosa's mother here. Just kind of
You can.
nice.
What's her name? She actually has a name.
In the Super Nintendo version, it's just Rosa's mother, and
Oh, really?
It just says, "The king's become dreadful. I heard you did an awful thing in Mysidia. Don't drag Rosa into trouble, I beg you." I think she's a little less nice about it in other versions, where she's like, "So help me God, if you drag my daughter into some shit." Oh yeah, I think this script that we have here doesn't actually have the town of Baron either.
Yeah,
It does not.
I could not find
It
it.
just skips-
I'm just looking through the walkthrough if someone's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, not really too much to talk about. There's like tutorial areas where there's just like classrooms that tell you you can save the game, you can do all this. Like, it is interesting that I actually did learn some stuff in those training areas, just trying to get all the dialogue. Mainly that, like, in the same way that we had items that you could just use, like the gloves or whatever that would cast like lightning in Final Fantasy 1. Same thing here, and you can do that by going. You have to have it equipped. And you have to go into the item and like hit up or like left or something in order to get to that on the screen when you're in items. So I learned that and I use that later on, which is cool.
I was streaming my playthrough of this week's homework, and somebody told me, one of the people in chat told me, this is the only fireplace in the game that you talk to and it will burn your hand.
Yeah, I guess you learn.
Oh.
Like that's you learn not to touch the fire after doing that.
I checked the well and nothing happened this time.
Yeah, I was bummed about that. I was expecting something in the well as well. Did you guys find the secret items though?
Yes. So toward the top of the town, there is, I guess, like a fountain, like a little pool. I call it a fountain because
It's like a spring.
yeah, because like water is flowing downhill from it, but you can jump in there and then like go through the town's like aqueducts and stuff.
Yeah, you just
And
walk
they're
under
dirty.
bridges. Yeah.
And you end up in this little area where there's a couple hidden chests you can get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think it's 2 tents in the Super Nintendo version. I think it was a tent and like a high potion or something in the other one.
We didn't really mention this in the first episode, so I'll kind of mention it now that like so obviously people know that there is cut content from FF2. And the version I'm playing restores all of the cut content. And so when you go down there in the version that I'm playing, the Namingway edition, you actually get what was originally there in the Japanese version, which is an hourglass. And so like
bronze hourglass. That's what was in the Vita one as well.
So yeah, like this game is kind of neat in that like other Final Fantasies, slow and stop are usually like not as useful. And in this game, you can just abuse slow and stop. You can just be like, I'm throwing an hourglass to stop all the enemies for like fucking 5 minutes. Fuck you guys. So when you have like a tough battle, you can just be like, no, only me move.
Yeah, it's the bronze hourglass in the DS version as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. There's also, before you get into that fountain or whatever, there's like a very funny NPC that you can talk to.
The dancer.
Hell yeah.
I like in both of the versions that I played, the dancer was like, she says, "Oh, I wasn't talking shit about the King of Baron, I swear. How about you watch my dance instead?" And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh no. Like what? Like, do we assume that this is a place where you go to the gulag if you're heard talking about the king?
I mean, I feel like all the context clues are there. Like, we got fired from the Red Wings because we like were like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah,
and then
that's all.
Kane was like, "Yo, if you're like trying to do something to Cecil," and he's like, "No."
Yeah.
But I do like how in the SNES version it has none of that. Like, oh, I wasn't talking bad about the king. Like, I want to say that's the canonical thing. But she just says, "Oh, the Dark Knight. Want to see something?" And then she just starts fucking busting a move.
I think every town has one of these ladies.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there is if you go to the inn, there is like a wanted like sign, like looking for. Wait, hold on.
Wanted, great dancers. Ask at the counter. Baronian Inn.
Oh,
so I guess
Baronian.
The Bronian Inn.
My Baroni has a first name.
My little Baroni. My little Baronian.
Yeah, Baronian.
Yeah, it said live and comely dancers wanted. Inquire at counter.
Comely.
And then there's also a little girl that, because like everyone else in this town, I was like, why are you dressed like that? Are you a bad person?
Yeah.
Cecil's just like,
are you the
bae? Also, this town has an odd amount, like for the first town in the game, it has an odd amount of like weird rooms and places you can't get to. Because like the weapons store isn't open. There's a place called Snake Road you can go into.
Or Serpent Way, I think it's called in the SNES one.
Yeah. And like that apparently is a shortcut to Mysidia, but obviously it's sealed off on their end now. So they were like, no.
Yeah, they're like, fuck those guys.
It's fucking, what's the fucking like death trap that Elon Musk is building?
Oh, yeah, the Hyperloop or whatever? Yeah, which one? You gotta be more specific.
Which one? Yeah. It's like one of those. You can drive your car into it, but like if there's a fire, you have to back up all the way out.
Oh my God.
So...
Oh yeah, the again with the dancing ladies, like because they're in every town. I noticed that the song that plays is not like really a Final Fantasy song. It's just like I think it's the.
It's like an actual song. It's like it's like slightly altered, but it's that song.
Yeah,
It's basically like the breakfast machine from Pee Wee.
Yeah.
What's the hold on? Was this song? Saber dance.
Meow.
Yeah, it's just saber dance. The Armenians or slash. Wait, what's it? Is it?
It's from Baron.
Yeah, it's from the Baronian saber dance.
Anyway, it's just that song.
Yeah.
I might just record a video of that part and just edit it so it just plays the Spanish flea.
It's funny because it's supposed to be kind of like the dancers are always trying to. It's kind of like a risque type of thing. I'm assuming, right? They're all like
I think so. Yeah.
They're like cabaret dancers, but they're just out in the street.
Yeah.
But also in the Final Fantasy 1, they're like the dancers are supposed to be kind of your guide as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This one they're just here for entertainment. I guess they've all settled in. Anyway,
in 5, they're the only class that can equip a ribbon, so they really take a step up on the next one.
Yeah, holy shit!
But just you wait, X2's coming.
That's right.
The dancer class.
And Final Fantasy VII Remake. The nice little dance. Oh yeah, there's a big dance scene.
Yeah. There's no classes.
True.
The other two things in this place are there's like the learner's corner, the beginner's corner that you can go to where you like learn how to play the game. Yeah. I was the trainer school. Yeah, in Pokemon. And then there's Sid's house as well, and he's in there sleeping.
Wait, Sid lives in the town?
Yeah, Sid lives in the town. Yeah,
and his daughter's in there, and she's like, "My dad pulled an all-nighter again." She's annoyed.
I thought for when I was younger, I don't know why, I thought that Rosa was Sid's daughter, but that is clearly not the case here.
Yeah.
So,
I do like that. In one of the buildings, there's like a woman that you can talk to. Who I don't know if in like other versions it's more of like I wasn't talking bad about the king, but you just like talk to them and they say Cecil or Beasel. I've done nothing. I've never failed to pay the taxes.
Oh yeah. There's several NPCs as you talk to the different people who like recognize you as a Dark Knight and are like, oh shit, this dude is trouble.
Yeah,
like if you go into the pub and you talk to the bartender, he was like, oh, I would never imagine charging a Dark Knight. Please just take whatever you want and leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
It's like, damn, bootlicker.
Which makes me think though.
Are we the baddies?
Well, are there other Dark Knights, or is like Cecil has a problem with some things but not other things?
Stealing is okay.
Because like, why would they think that about the Dark Knights?
Yeah.
I assumed that it was like that, you know, it's a class. And like he was saying, like, oh, I am not even going to feel remorse soon.
Right. Yeah. That's
so they're like, they don't realize that he hasn't gotten that far yet, but
yeah.
I also just love, I've never failed to pay the taxes, because I can't help but think of that Italian Elon Musk tweet where it's like, hey, I built a shitty spaceship. I don't pay him my taxes.
But yeah, that's really all that's here, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Pretty much ready to actually go on our adventure now.
I think so.
You want to swing by the end first?
I was gonna say I need to poop before we do
the
rest of the adventure. So I will see you on the other side.
Hell yeah.
I lied to you, dear listener. I was
just gonna say, Curtis, how was your poop?
I did not poop. I'm keeping it on deck, and what I'm thinking is that the tension that it brings will actually help me to be more active and engaged in the podcast.
It's like casting darkness.
Yeah.
I do also want the listener to know that that was the first thing that Curtis said when we all got together tonight, which if you listen to the first half of the episode, tack on an extra like 15 or so minutes of us just bullshitting about, you know, music equipment and stuff. So, and I was saying how for the entire like thing, we should just be piping into his headphones the hurry theme from Final Fantasy V. We're all about transparency this season. That's why we're telling you we recorded this 2 weeks ago on the 4th of July, and Curtis didn't actually take a shit.
Well, the Steam version certainly takes a shit every battle I get into. Hey-o! Because
in the SNES version, Curtis did actually take a shit.
That's right, yeah. I will say, too, so I went back, Alex, and I restarted FF4 for Steam, and I chose hard difficulty, so it's more like the DS. And it is not fucking clowning around, dude. Like,
damn.
Yeah, I think the hard mode is like the original difficulty on the DS.
It is wild.
Because I think they did add like an easier difficulty, but just say, like, no, the original one is hard. We're just gonna make that hard.
So Final Fantasy 2 and the Japanese version of Final Fantasy 2, so Final Fantasy 4, you know, both of those, all of the enemies you can find up to the first boss are all one-shot kills. Like, you can just take them out quickly. And, like, your ATB fills so quickly that, like, you can get through 4 or 5 enemies without any of them getting a turn. Like, that's how it is on all those different versions. And then as soon as I walk out of the town, on the DS version or the Steam version on hard mode, both of my characters get petrified and I game over on the first fight. And I was like,
holy
what
shit.
the fuck?
You need that guy to train you how to like catch a Pokemon and battle and
yeah.
Like, no, go.
Well, what's funny is like, so I started again. I go outside the town. One person, is Kane, gets petrified. And so I go back and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to use the inn, and I didn't have any money because I spent it on potions and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I have to go buy a gold needle then, and it's like 400 gil, and I don't have that much.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that
what the fuck? Like,
does the inn cure petrification?
I don't know.
I guess it would, right?
Oh wait, no, wait, I did use it. I did use it eventually, and yes, it does. It does.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's good.
But like, it is wild difficult comparatively, like ridiculously so. So I had to spend a little bit of time leveling up and getting ready for the first boss. Although the boss was easy. It was all the encounters that were difficult.
Wait, how do you level up before you even leave?
Before I got to the first boss.
Oh,
yeah.
I did level up before I leave town.
No. Yeah.
I did a little bit of leveling up as well. Not for any particular reason, just because I was like, oh, I want to see what kind of monsters are around here and, you know, like get a feel for the battle system and stuff. And, explore a little bit, because like they tell you pretty much directly where you need to go. I was like, let me explore a little bit, but apparently I didn't explore enough because you guys were talking about something that I didn't find at
all. Oh yeah, so like I left town. The first thing I found on my walk is there's this little patch of like 2 small forests and like just southwest of Barren.
Yeah,
and on the upper one, it's just like a perfect circle of of a forest. I found a chocobo forest.
Yep.
And
hell yeah,
it's cute. Like, I was like, I like this music. I was so happy to find chocobos instantly.
They just show up. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Basically,
were they hot or were they cold?
But what do we do here? I totally forgot what. I think there are 5 total in the game, but
there are yellow chocobos, white chocobos, and for now an invisible chocobo.
Whoa. We need to get the lens of truth from the bottom of the well.
That's right.
But I think immediately I was able to like just talk to a chocobo and use it as a steed.
Yeah. If you
oh, that's sick.
If you talk to the white ones, they give you all your MP back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They're like white mages.
That's huge, because I feel like ethers are expensive as fuck in some versions of this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't have any random encounters from that point on until I got to the cave, I should say. Just like in Final Fantasy VII, you just got to get off to get no Zolims in sight.
I will say, like, in the town and like the training area that you can totally just bypass, assuming this isn't your first Final Fantasy, which it probably isn't if you're listening to us. But if it is your first fantasy, fuck yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of talk about chocobos and a lot of talk about fat chocobos, which is great.
Yeah.
I think in the SNES one they don't call them fat chocobos. I think they say like big chocobo or something.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Choco Gordo.
Yeah.
But also in the Vita version that I'm playing, there's the Geishel greens or however we pronounce that. And in the SNES one, which I don't think most items have any kind of descriptors, you kind of just need to figure it out. You can just instead of like in the area where you would buy the greens, they just sell you a carrot. But like if you talk of people, they're like, wherever it smells of chocobo, use the carrot or something.
Yeah, right.
Again, I think it's just like character limits in the SNES version.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, and I think one of the things with like the fat chocobo, from what I've gathered, I haven't found it yet or anything, but they basically said like use this when you smell of chocobo, and if you have too many items in your inventory, you can give them to the fat chocobo as like a stockpile Thomas thing from Demon Souls.
I was gonna say it's just like in Resident Evil when you go into any of the rooms, you give them to the fat chocobo, and
it's like the Duke.
Yeah, it's the Duke. Use Geishel greens, and then the Duke appears. I love it.
What are you buying? Something an old friend of mine used to say.
Yeah, I can't believe that was in that game. That was so wild.
I was very excited. I did like the nods that they gave to other Resident Evil games, like calling Chris a boulder punching asshole.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, good game. Good game.
Good game.
Another good game is Final Fantasy 4/2.
But yeah, I thought it was really funny that like the Chocobo Forest is like steps away from Baron. Like you could feasibly not get any encounters and just be like, there it is, and just go right to it.
That's sick.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah,
airships. We got chocobos. We got Sid already. I mean, we got Sid, but we got
another very minor. Is very minor. Like we're talking about like nitpicking. I'm gonna pick the tiniest nit. In the 2D versions, there's a different animation for when you walk the chocobo over water, where it's like halfway submerged and it's very cute. And then on the 3D one, he just stands on top of the water like some kind of chocobo Jesus.
Like some sort of Jesus.
Yeah, like some sort of Jesus. Yeah. But anyway.
It's much like, probably like in FF7 does the same thing, right? The chocobo just walks on water.
No, I think true. Doesn't it submerge a little bit?
Or is it like
it might submerge a little bit, like the feets.
Like a duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Whatever. Anyway.
You just want to see them choco feets.
No, I don't want to see them
Final
choco
Fantasy.
feets.
we played Final Fantasy VII before the pandemic. That's essentially a fucking lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember goddamn anything from that fucking game. But yeah, if we go what would it be? Northeast, I think is where the mist cave is.
Before we enter the mist cave, I will say you can fight.
Oh no, it is northwest. I do want to say that there is a part after this where we have to go northeast, I think. Yes, I was thinking the correct version of east and west, but I forgot that it was...
It is to the northwest. And before we enter, I would just like to say you can fight goblins and porcupines out here.
Oh, are they called porcupines in that version? They're called like sword rats.
Yeah, there's sword rats, yeah.
I think there's also like the big eye enemy.
Float eye. Yeah.
Which we fought on the ship, I think, too.
Yeah, correct.
Mike Wazowski's.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mike Wazowski's, yeah.
That fucking thing that you get some sort of sphere from in the monster arena.
Oh, that's right. The one we had to fight over and over and over.
A million fucking times.
That's right.
So that I could not even get up to penance.
Yeah, and we entered the Mist Cave. And what I like about... I mean, there's many things that I like about FF4, but one of the things I like about FF4 is a couple of the dungeons are just, you start in this corner and you need to go to the other corner.
So I did like that a whole lot.
A lot better than Mount Moon in Pokemon, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot better than the fucking ice cavern or the volcano in Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. These dungeons are much more manageable than those. Absolutely.
Wait, Cecil's last name is Harvey?
Yeah, Cecil Harvey.
That's such a white guy name.
He's white. What's Kane's last name?
Highwind.
Highwind. What's Sid's last name?
That's a good question.
Strife.
Just trading them around.
Hold on. Polendina. It sounds like an Italian name.
Indeed.
But, yeah, Kane Highwind. How about that? I wonder if they even have last names in the original version.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That's a good point. I've been meaning to pull up the manual and just kind of thumb through that. Because I feel like a lot of the gaps in my knowledge in the game itself is probably like they probably explain what all the spells do instead of just being like, you got scope or whatever the scout or whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm like, what does that do? I used it. I don't know what it did.
A sight? Is that the one?
Sight. Yeah.
Sight. If you use sight on the world map, it'll show you a map of the towns you've been to.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. I tried using it in battle and not the cabin, and I was like. I thought it would like show like HP or something.
Yeah, like scan.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Cave of the Mists.
Or the Misty Cave, again, depending on version.
Similar enemies. There's some new enemies in it, but I think the enemies from the overworld are also here as well.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Goblins, sword rats, Insectus.
They're like little slugs. Yeah. They're kind of cute.
Weird. I think they're just called larvae in mine.
In the SNES and Super Famicom versions, they exist only to be slaughtered by Cecil and Kane. And in the 3DS fucking Steam hard mode version, they exist to cast slow on you at the beginning of the turn, and then there's 6 of them, and the ATBs are already pretty fucking slow anyway. So you're just sitting there like, this sucks.
I feel like that's not even hard difficulty. That's just like ROM hack level shit of just being like, here's a Kaizo block, fuck you.
Yeah, right. A lot of the intro of that 3D version of this seems that way.
Dude, it feels like it sounds like a fucking Nuzlocke. Like,
yeah, it's kind of wild.
That's wild.
Did we talk about Namingway here?
Not yet.
Because he's the first thing I see.
He is the very first thing you see. Let's talk about him. As soon as you walk in on the 3D version, we see already a familiar face.
It's Namingway.
Namingway.
He's like, oh, hey, after last spoke, I said about mapping a new course for my life, and one that would allow me to help people. Like, finally. By, like, it basically gives you,
mapping a new course for his life, you say?
His name's Mappingway now.
He changes his name to Mappingway. That's son
what?
Of a bitch. Yeah. No, it actually like brings in one of the things that I like best in video games. Like, I remember when Star Ocean 3 did this, and I obsessed over it. The 3D versions of FF4, you get map completion percentage for like walking all over here.
Oh,
I love it when that happens. I love games that do that.
I love the meta of it where they're like, we're going to call him like this character who was only known as Namingway and was a pretty much useless function in the game, essentially. Like, I don't know if anything more happens with him
like
in
Tingle.
this.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. But like with Mappingway, and it's like, oh, that's so stupid that they would change his name. And it's like, no, that's fucking brilliant because his fucking job is to change your name. So clearly he can change his own fucking name. There's no fucking God.
Well,
there's no
anymore.
Masters.
Yeah. This is the last time he can ever change a name because he changed his name to Mappingway. He lost the ability to do it.
That fucking rules, dude. It's like in Pokemon when you use cut over like one of your other moves and you're like, shit.
Yeah, I can erase that now, yeah. Although in the later games you could change cut.
Yes.
So. Anyway.
But yeah, now you get like I think, is there any function to this besides just like knowing that you've gotten every area of the map?
There is a function to it. Once you get 100% completion on maps, you get a couple items.
That's cool.
So in this one, like I was saying, this version's kind of hard. So I was actually going through some of my potions, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you get 5 potions, like just straight up, as soon as you get 100% completion of this map.
Does it show the map in on the Steam version at the same time?
Not at the same time,
because on the DS version, it's really cool. Like,
that's handy.
It does the thing where like much like the map in like Final Fantasy X. Where it'll like
nice.
It'll pop in and out, and in the bottom right corner it has the percentage completion.
That's cool.
So you can kind of immediately know like how much of the map is left.
That's cool. Yeah, you can like toggle to the map in the Steam one. So,
nice,
that is awesome. And then there's a couple items here. There's no like weapons or anything like that. I mean, there's like potions and junk.
I do like the big butterfly or the moth enemy in this.
Yeah.
They're like very pretty looking. They have like they look like a Pokemon, like because their wings have like giant
Venomoth.
eyes. Yeah, like they have like almost human looking eyes, like with hella mascara. It looks good.
There was another moth Pokemon, isn't there? In a second one?
Yeah, there's
a
new one.
bunch now. I feel
there's
like.
one that has the regional. I forget his name.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Find out on Daycare Dittos.
Find out on Daycare Dittos.
The podcast that does more to promote our show than we fucking do to promote our own show. Because I swear to God, they reference us every episode.
Beautifly,
yeah.
Or
I think I was thinking of another one, but
Pavilion.
Oh, Pavilion.
Yeah, Pavilion.
That's the one with the,
what I was thinking.
It has
the
a
regional
million
ones.
variants and stuff.
Yeah.
I also like that when I was testing out like the item thing in some of these battles to see if I had anything that I could use, I just kept scrolling down to the bottom of my like inventory, and then at the very bottom there's just 2 things, and one says sort with like 2 like dashes, like so it's like a sort function within the battle, which is kind of cool, and then the other one is just trash can, and
we're gonna get to trash can, buddy.
I love I'm like, I feel like, again, I'm just thinking about wrestling apparently with like Macho Man Randy Savage, where it's just like Cecil just picks up a fucking trash can and starts bashing the moth with it.
Are you only playing the PSP version?
No, I'm playing that and the SNES.
Then your dream is going to come true eventually.
Oh, really? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's really only one path through this cave, right?
Like, it's just a big squiggly S with some bridges and shit.
Yeah, there's some like offshoots you can take to get to things, but
the goblins, I just realized, just look like Keebler elves with fucking like axes.
They look very similar to the sprites from Final Fantasy 1.
This is the cave where they make the cookies at.
Oh, well, R.A.P.
So yeah, in the Super Nintendo version, they all are called imps. Much like we would be remiss to not mention the Grimps.
Yeah.
Grimping ain't easy.
Yeah.
Grimping ain't easy.
But we hear her voice very soon, right?
Yeah, a couple times as we're walking through this cave, there's like a disembodied voice that shouts to us.
Like knights. This just question mark in big all caps. And it's like Knights of Baron. And Kane is like, who are you? The voice responds.
In the 3D one, they get their weapons out. They're like, oh shit. They're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
It's like, leave now and no harm will befall you. It's like very like Wizard of Oz kind of thing. It's like, this is some dude just like, like this guy's full of shit. There's someone just like,
someone just,
but like,
someone just got a horn and they're speaking through it.
The king did tell us that there's like a beast, right? Like a creature in the Valley of the Mist that needs to be slain or whatever.
Yeah, but, like that's our prey or whatever.
Yeah, so I feel like we get the sense that that's probably what it is. But I like the fact that 3 different times it keeps telling us like, I really don't want anything to do with you. Please just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Please just go home. It's like begging with us, like, do not come here. Just go home, and like nothing will happen. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm but no, it's a game. It's a Final Fantasy game. We must go on.
Yeah, we got to go and kill the monster at the end of the cave. What could possibly go wrong?
I
do also like in the Super Nintendo version, it's just a tile thing. So when you walk on the tile, it'll just continually do that over and so like if you start backtracking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like literally the first time it speaks, it just says, "Go back!" ... exclamation point, and then Beasel says, "Who is it?" And that's it. What are you doing here?
I like that Kane says, "Confident bastard, aren't you?" Like after the second time, in one of the versions at least. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I guess are we at the end of the cave now?
We're almost there. Yeah. I do like that. There's a point where like Cecil does try to like ration with like, yeah, we gotta go to the village. We're not going back. Like we're on a mission.
Yeah.
You can't stop us.
Yeah, like Kane is like ride or die, but he like with this interaction and some coming up, you do get the feeling that he's a little bit more hot-headed than Cecil is.
Yeah,
like, he's a little bit more ready to throw down. But yeah, we get to the end of the cave and we get a final warning. And we actually get an option where it says turn back, and we can say yes or no to it. And if you say yes, it'll just walk one back.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love that it makes you like pull the trigger on it yourself. You have to
chance, fucko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the clumsy translation here because they just say, let me pull it up. One sec.
And this is in 2.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy quote unquote 2. You get up there and it says leave now, and then Kane says, is it a monster? And then you keep going and you get the final warning and just says one's from Baron. And Kane says, who are you? With an exclamation point, not even a question mark. And then return now and I will not harm you. And then Kane just says, show up.
Show up.
Show up, dude.
I kind of like that.
Turn up.
It's like,
it's like
if I ever am like about to get into a fight and it's like
it's
imminent, but like they're like, you really want to go or something, I'm just gonna be like, show up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say either show up or I will knock you down.
So good.
But yeah, then you get the thing. Do you still wish to go on? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Very cool. And then Cecil just says, we must deliver this package to the village of Mist. And then it says, then I must, and then the mist is gathering. So I guess it's then I must harm you.
Yeah. And I really like the animation on the Super Nintendo version of the like ice blocks like converging in on you, or like I guess the fog maybe it's supposed to be. Like it's really cool again.
I also didn't mention it, but in the Super Nintendo version, the entire cave has like a mist effect over it, which is really cool.
Ooh, let me tell you something about the Super Nintendo version if you didn't know, and maybe you know already, but it's great fun. You can press R and L to switch who's on the screen.
I learned that in the training room or whatever it's called, like the tutorial thing, and I was like, oh, that's so good. So like I was just flipping through like Kane or Beezel.
The best is when you have a full party of 5 and you're just smashing the R button as you walk, and you're just like a gross undulating mass of like flesh just like moving along. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's really good. I really liked that.
But yeah, we get into our first boss fight, the guard scorpion. I mean, the mist dragon.
Or in the Super Nintendo version, it is the D mist.
Yeah, D mist. D's
D
mist.
period mist. D's mist.
D's never missed. Yeah, but like, it's funny because FF4, 6, and 7 all have the same first boss. They're all guard scorpion. They're all mist dragon. Because like the way all of them work is it's real easy, but then it'll start doing something where you can't attack it. No, wait, 5 does that too. Wing Wrapper is the exact same way. So 4 through 7, the first bosses are always like whip up on him and then he changes forms. Don't attack him during that.
I feel like that's pretty cool and pretty elegant in terms of just like the ATB system, where they're like, you're always going to be fighting, and independent of what you're doing, it's not just straight up turn based. There's different like clocks moving here, and that kind of shows you where you're just like, oh, I can be strategic, and that's just like a good immediate lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very elegant way of showing that off.
I like the different designs of this thing. In the SNES version,
they're real different.
He looks just like Nessie.
Yeah,
just floating out of like a cloud, because he's just like a normal dragon with like little wings.
It kind of looks like Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah. And then the GBA one is like the same.
It's like a Rayquaza. It's like a Dratini.
Yeah, in the PSP form, it's more like he's a little more above the mist, but his feet are in the mist.
Yeah.
But then in like in the DS version, it's just a full ass serpent with no wings.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. Different.
But yeah,
Misto Doragon.
He doesn't have any like terribly interesting attacks. It's just attack. That's pretty much it. And it doesn't do a lot of damage until he enters his second form, where he turns into just a vapor of mist. And if you attack him while he's in that, or I suppose I should say while she's in that form, as we'll come to find out, you get a counter attack that actually does pretty decent damage to both Cecil and Kane.
It also does is that freezing mist or is that
freezing mist? Attack while the tail's up.
Yeah, attack while the tail's up.
Yeah,
tail up.
It will counter.
Yeah.
I mean, in this, it does actually give you, even in the clunky translated Super Nintendo version. When you do that, it uses the move. It's also funny. It says you miss when you try to attack the mist.
You missed.
Which I'm just realizing. Yeah, you missed. Then he uses cold mist on you, and then it says, "Do not fight now. Fighting when mist will freeze you with breath.
You come at the king. You best not mist."
Mist would pass.
And that's really it, right? I mean, like, there's other than that's everything to this fight.
I guess so.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple one.
It's kind of cool. I really like the two form thing.
Yeah. It's like you say, it's very elegant.
It took me a while though. Like it had quite a bit of HP. I think because let's say at this point, like maybe your characters have like around 200.
Yeah.
And let's see how much HP. This thing has like about 500 HP.
Yeah.
Now in the DS or the 3D versions, it's weak to dark attacks. So you can cast darkness with Cecil, which makes his attacks dark and do more damage. And so you can really just roll numbers on him.
Wow.
Nice. Darkness is a really cool thing, which I have on the Vita version. But or like Dark Attack or whatever, where we talked about it a couple of times, where you use that, you can hit all enemies on the screen or in the battle with a physical attack, which also I guess has some weaknesses, like Curtis was just saying. But it takes off like 15 or 20 or 25, I think, hit points. So like you're hurting yourself, but you're dishing out a lot of damage.
Stop hurting yourself.
I have not figured out how to do that on Super Nintendo yet, and I've tried. So I don't know if I'm assuming it's kind of like it's similar to how jump works with Kane, but I just don't have it unlocked yet. But I've also leveled up a bunch with Cecil, but I don't know.
I don't
know.
Again,
I should read the manual.
I don't know if it's coming through or not, but there are fireworks exploding all over outside, and we're like in a basement. And
I don't hear them.
Boom, 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 boom.
I don't think I hear them.
Blasted Red Wings.
Yeah, our neighbors are apparently setting them off as well,
okay.
and we can kind
of hear them.
Our
whole block is having a party, and like there's even fucking horses out there, and
there were horses outside.
And cornhole.
We usually can't
in
hear
Philadelphia.
We usually can't hear shit in our basement. But apparently when not wearing headphones, you can hear the fireworks clearly. Well, I mean, speaking of fireworks, you guys want to just do the next scene real quick, or
do you want to? I'm down to.
Just a little. I feel like it's thematically fitting.
Fair enough. Oh my God, is that what's going on outside right now?
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, let's do the next thing then.
We just exit the cave.
Exit the cave.
You know, classic Final Fantasy thing. You beat the boss, you go to the next area. You're on the overworld.
There's like 5 steps on the overworld to the town of Mist. It's
for
right
me,
there.
As I'm stepping out of the cave, I get map completion or
map complete,
like quest complete or whatever, and it gives me 5 potions.
I was right. I was thinking that was it. Yeah, I needed those too. I was like low on them. But yeah. So we get out. We go to the village of Mist. We're going to deliver the package.
Yeah, nice little town. No doors on any of the buildings, which is kind of weird. There is an inn. I was very excited to get in there and take a rest after that hard battle. Then some dialogue just comes up and... Holy shit, yeah, no, I can hear the fucking fireworks through my goddamn headphones. That's insane. I don't know if it's being picked up on the mic, but oh my God.
Speaking of which...
Yeah.
So as soon as we
get a dialogue box that says package opened automatically ... And then we see very cute sprites of a bunch of fucking bombs, like the Final Fantasy enemy bombs.
Yeah, and they're like circling around and like shooting through the town, and like it starts to burn the town down. Like it like blows up the buildings and burns the town down. You're like, oh no. And like it's terrible because like Kane and Cecil are like, yo, what the fuck is going on? They're like super surprised, and like I do feel bad for Cecil especially. He's like, I'm never going to kill innocent people again. And then, like the package just
now
opens.
To deliver this package.
Yeah. And so it's just burning this town down and killing all of the residents, and he's like, uh-oh.
Hey, it's me or Uber Eats.
You ordered some Dons?
not tipping for this one.
But the DS version is real brutal because you just walk into town and like I think Cecil's holding the ring in his hand and it starts glowing, and then he like flinches as like all the like bombs start spiraling around, and it shows like different like angles of like village like people just running away as these bombs just completely just like are chasing down and just burning down buildings, and it's just like it's brutal, and there's just people like dead on the ground and stuff.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Speaking of people dead on the ground, as soon as it's over, and they like Cecil and Kane kind of realize what has happened, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we've done this."
My god.
My god.
Well, that's what it says in the script.
They hear a voice, right, like of somebody crying, and we walk toward the top of the earth. That's north in the town. The top of the map.
I must mention that in the DS versions, Cecil does do a very like, because there's a few scenes or a voice, he does the very like cliche. Why?
He does. He does. Why? So good.
This is what we were sent to do?
He wished this village torched.
But why?
Why?
It's real dumb, but I love it.
Oh, you know what? Before we get to the next section, actually, I will say I like the dubbing, like the voices in the DS version. I think they're actually really good.
They're really good, and also like it's very sparse, so it's like only like very like key scenes I've noticed so far. But it's good.
Cool. I feel like I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I kind of like the DS for a handheld. Like, didn't always hit the mark with voices all the time, but like these ones are well done.
They must have hired like some really decent like just anime VOs for this one.
Yeah. But yeah, we hear somebody crying toward the top of the map, and we go up there, and there's a girl who's like kneeling down over a dead woman, right?
She looks kind of like a mermaid in mine, but I think it's just because of her green, big, wispy hair.
Yeah, she's got some cool green hair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And if because it's a Japanese game, as soon as you see like a cool haircut, this is the main character.
Yeah, right, yeah.
This isn't just Baigen's fucking sprite again in a different color. So you're like, maybe this is
But she's kind of talking to herself, and you realize that that's her mother, right? Her mother's been killed or whatever. Yeah. And I think at first when you walk up there, you're like, okay, well the bombs went off and everything, so maybe that's what killed her. But as she's
like, oh no, we killed her with the bombs we accidentally brought.
Yeah. But as she monologues, she kind of says like, "Oh, somebody must have killed your dragon," and like you're like, "Oh, wait a minute."
I wouldn't want to be me right now.
And so we talk to her. And we're like, "Oh, hey, is everything all right? Are you okay?" And she's like, "You need to stay back. You're the ones who killed my mother's dragon, and that's what killed her."
In the 3D version, they kind of delve into like this. I think Kane says,
"I've heard of their lot. Men who can conjure eidolons. Summoners."
Then the dragon we slew was her mother's?
They have like a bond, I guess, with that summon.
So in this game, the summoners, like when you summon something, it's like you kill one of them, you kill both of them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you die in the Eidolon, you die in real life.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way to say it. God damn it.
When Alex was pronouncing it, I was like, what did you say? Antlion?
But
yeah, anyway,
we killed her avatar.
Yeah, so the mist dragon, the creature of the Valley of the Mists, was the summon of this woman, right?
Yeah.
And so her daughter is still alive, and now her town is burned down, and like she's all alone. And like the people who did this are now like she's facing both of them, right?
She got a stronger summon, honestly.
Dude, this is so fucked up.
It's fucked up.
This is so upsetting.
And Cecil's like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do? What should we do?" And Kane gets pretty fucking dark. He's like, "Well, I guess we better finish the job."
Yeah, dude.
And Cecil's like, "What the fuck? You can't be kidding. You gotta be joking me." And he's like, "No, I mean, that's why we're here. Like, what do you think will happen if we go back to His Majesty and we haven't done it? Like, we need to take her out as well." And Cecil kind of like steps in the way and is like, "I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna do that." Yeah. And it seems like Kane was fishing for him to say that, because he's like, "That's what I thought. I knew that you were a good guy." And so he like is on your side not to kill this little kid, but like questionable.
Yeah, it's very
in the DS,
questionable.
he's just like, "You betrayed the king?" And he was like, "I guess so." I'm like, cool.
Yeah, cool.
He just wants like, do you want a Mage Queen? I'll
Yeah. I didn't want to say it first. I wanted to see if you would say it first.
Yeah, it's like, dude, are you just trying to impress whoever's in the room with you currently? Because like, if the king was telling you to kill the girl, you'd be like, oh yeah, totally. And when I'm in the room, I'm like, let's not kill the girl. You're like, oh yeah, totally. Like,
yeah, no, he was just fishing to see what we would say.
Yeah, he's just trying to fit in, guys. I do want to point out really quick that in the Super Nintendo version, they're not called summoners, and Kane just says, I've heard of the people with the power to summon monsters. They are callers.
Callers, that's right. Yeah, they're callers in FF2. Yeah. And actually, this we'll see the skill call here in a second.
Yeah,
like instead of summon, it's literally called call.
Yeah.
So Cecil and Kane are like, hey, we need you to come with me. Like, we need you to come with us. And I'm like,
Kane's like, I know I said I was just about to kill you, but you need to come with us.
Yeah, right.
Hey, little girl, I know we just walked in here from the mountains after killing your mom's dragon, thus killing your mom, and then we set your entire town on fire. Our bad. You actually have to come with us now. Like,
yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, it's
whoopsie, but
this is a really cool scene, and it's a really cool way to start a game where you're playing as protagonists who are doing this unbeknownst to themselves and are feeling this way about it. But it's also like, just with the current climate of the world and shit that's going on, it's just like, and this shit has also been going on at the time of this game coming out, and I'm sure that's why they have this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this isn't, again, it's not just like a fantasy, but it's like it hits pretty fucking close to home, and you're just like, oh my god, dude, that's why these
games are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can see why this blew your mind when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of blowing my mind as a fucking 31-year-old man.
Because, like, the morality in the intro scene is already gray, and then it just gets worse. It just becomes murkier as we go along.
I can't believe we just commit a war crime, and then, like, well, I guess I'll just do this one little delivery job, and it'll be like, it'll just be in the past. I'm like, no, you get to do more war crimes.
More war crimes.
These poor guys just can't stop committing war crimes.
So understandably, this little girl's like, no, you need to stay the fuck away. And so she's like trying to like run away from us. But we catch up to her and she's like, no. And like we get into a battle with her. Like we actually
dude,
enter
again,
into the
it's just so fucked up. And it's so good because it's like the game is very much so making you make these decisions. It's not like, especially at the time when it came out, like I don't think games had probably really done that at all, where it's just like, no, you have to make this decision and you decide, you said yes. And it's the only way to progress through the story, but you have to do this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it actually makes us like do it. Yeah, which
so
like
I was literally like my jaw dropped when this scene happened. I was like, they're really gonna make me fucking like kill this little girl. Like, oh my god. Right.
I know, real fucked up.
I didn't attack at all.
Me neither.
In the Vita version, I was like, I can't do it. And then she immediately just calls a summon.
She calls fucking Titan.
She calls Titan.
Which, like, in all the Final Fantasies that, like, we've played with summons, like... Actually, have we only played one with summons? Like,
I guess that they're called summons, right?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Titan
I guess 10
7.
had summons, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Titan is usually a fucking... a badass one. That's that's, like, one that'll ruin your shit. So I was like...
Yeah, and 7, he ripped off part of the earth like a fucking scab. I think it's, like, what the animation director, wanted it to look like.
And, like, I like this one because Titan pops out and then flexes his fucking muscles and a giant, like, earthquake happens and it, like, rends a giant crater in the earth. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Not a crater. What am I thinking of?
Just a rend.
A fault.
Rend.
As
a fault,
as
a canyon?
would say.
Oh, a great rend in the earth. And it just fucking ends the battle. And,
it changes the overworld, too.
The summon is so strong that it changes the overworld. It creates a mountain range that blocks
it's like now we can't get
mist.
Back to Baron.
Yeah, we're blocked off.
I cannot get back to that chocobo forest.
There'll be more.
Yeah, but after that scene, it shows the earth being changed, and then Cecil wakes up in like a little meadow, I guess, like after all of it's happened, and the girl is there passed out nearby, but Kane is nowhere to be found. And he's just like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? Kane, where are you? And so he kind of like makes up his mind. He's like, okay, I'm going to take this girl to the nearest town because she's clearly hurt. And I'm clearly hurt. We just need to go to an inn somewhere. So he picks her up and then we're off to the deserts, baby.
Hell yeah.
What is this thing?
What is what thing?
There's like a little white guy, a little white dude there just chilling when you wake up in the DS version.
I don't know what that is. That wasn't in the
is that mapping
Steam
way?
one.
No, it just looks like a little like marshmallow guy.
I don't know. Yeah, look that up. It's probably some like functionality for the DS or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
That, like,
like a stylus thing.
Yeah, probably something like that.
It looked kind of like the weird. I don't know what game it is, but there's a game for the PlayStation that has that weird kind of Neko cat mascot thing. It looks like.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna leave you to do that because you're playing the DS version. So I'm gonna like be surprised on podcast when you tell me what it is.
It looks kind of like one of the forest spirits in Mononoke, but a little dumber.
But that is where we're gonna end it for today.
Yeah, that
with
should...
more war crimes.
That just wraps everything else up in a nice little package.
In a nice little package. Sorry if I was sounding sarcastic. Yeah, so let's see here. Next episode, if you're wanting to play along, we're going to go up until we fight Octomom, I believe.
I don't know. I haven't played that far yet.
I haven't looked at the podcast list, the episode list. I should look at that before I... Yes, we'll go up until we fight Octomom and then leave that
the
cave.
next boss.
Is it actually called Octomom?
I just looked it up. Yes, it is. But it's supposed to be Octomammoth. But because it gets cut off, it cuts off the OTH, so it's just Octomam.
Oh, ma'am. Okay, yeah. Octodad and Octomam. An Octo family. Or I should say until we get to the end of the water cavern. So there's a little spoiler for you. There's a little spoiler of what the next boss is called.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll get up to. That was it for this episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that was
getting pretty heavy.
Already. I feel bad saying it was fun because it's fun to be doing a podcast again, but literally like my jaw dropped during that scene, even though I was playing it on, it's like an old Super Nintendo game, but goddamn, like
I love it. I love when video games try to like just jerk your emotions around a little bit.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, aside from that, it's good to be back. I fucking really missed this podcast.
Yeah. Happy July 4th, 2 weeks ago.
July 16th for everyone else listening.
Yeah.
On launch
Everyone's
day.
favorite holiday.
That's right.
Absolutely.
This kind of is the perfect episode to
record
today, knowing history.
It just never stops.
That's why I don't know any history. That's
history and current events.
Well, Alex, would you like to deliver a package to us?
Sparkle. I'm sorry. I'm just hearing fireworks going off outside. Happy festival fireworks.
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, make that booty work. I don't think that's the next line, but
thank you to Night of the Rounds.
It ought to be.
For the theme music. They're just great. I'm hoping we can drag them on this season.
Yes.
Thank you to Nobu.
Oh yeah.
Thank you to Nobu Uematsu, Junya Nakano, and Kenichiro Fukui for the game music, especially that fucking that saber dance. I'm sure that's all them.
It would have been great if they just pulled a Hip Tanaka and just like added the can dance like Hip Tanaka did for Super Mario Land for the star music.
Leave us a review on iTunes, why don't you? It really helps kind of get us up in other people's eyes, help other people find us. And if not, just
tell your friends.
Tell a homie.
Yeah.
Deliver them a package with us in it. We will not burn your house down.
It will be equally horrifying for them to behold.
But yeah, you can find us at every F and FF on most social media, Twitter, Instagram. I don't think we have a Twitch really, but we
will. You can follow us individually on Twitch.
Yeah, we do have a Twitch. We just don't really use it at all.
But instead, you could follow twitch.tv/CarlGerm or /TwirlinCurtis or /Malform, and it has a 4.
4M.
Yeah, it's MAL4M.
I don't stream. Don't worry about it.
It's the sequel to it's the sequel to 3M, the company that makes sticky notes.
Yeah, when he was streaming in the U.S., it was Maltuum.
Maltuum. We get fucking mileage out of that this year.
Oh my god, it's already old and everyone fucking hates it. People haven't even heard this episode yet and they're already fucking sick of it. They haven't even heard this season yet and they're sick of it.
We're already 2 episodes in or 4 episodes in Japan. But yeah, also
Alex, I got bad news about what I named this episode for in my file name.
Yeah, come hop in our Discord if you want to chat with us. It's a slowly growing and turning community. There's lots of debate about versions that we're playing and
versions of cucumbers and pickles and.
No, we settled that.
Bury that pickle.
Show up.
Show up
next week.
Yeah, show up next week. All right, that's dumb. Goodbye.
See you then.